What's happening, everybody? We made it to 300 YouTube videos. Kawasaki launched a brand new side-by-side. Let's talk about it. What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's Nick Olson, CHUPACABRA Off-Road. And of course I had a smirk during that intro because if you haven't, Kawasaki launched a new side-by-side last night called the Ridge, and myself, a lot of people were excited. We were hoping with some of the teasers that it was going to be more than what it was. Turns out it is a utility unit similar to a Polaris Ranger or a Can-Am Defender. A couple things about the teasers got me excited over the past month or two, which was the confirmation of a 4-cylinder motor. Now, if you guys aren't familiar, Polaris launched a Pro R almost 2 years ago, which totally blew the doors off of the side-by-side market in terms of everybody sticking to 1000cc motor size. So I had this whole soliloquy prepared that, now Kawasaki is going to be doing 2000 cc's and Segway launched something and maybe the speed will be bigger than 1000, all these things. Well, I couldn't have been more wrong. But quick and dirty, let's talk about the Kawasaki Ridge here. It is a utility unit. It makes sense why they'd want to do it. I used to be employed by Polaris. I do remember that Polaris sold about twice as many Rangers as they do Razors, so the market is massive. I've definitely seen a shift in the marketplace, or more of an excitement around fully enclosed units. So there are some enclosed units here on this Ridge, and it's a 1000cc 4-cylinder motor that makes 116 horsepower in the sport model. The teasers, I wasn't expecting a sport unit. I was hoping for a new version of a KRX, but I was hoping for something that was utility that was closer to the Polaris Expedition in terms of something bigger than 30-inch tires, something with more than 10 inches of travel, which is what the Ridge has. So it's a bummer, man. As I record this here in January, Supercross season's kicked off. If you guys don't know, I'm a big motocross fan, dirt bike rider. Probably like a lot of you guys watching the channel, you came from owning a dirt bike or an ATV, probably a Japanese model. So it was a letdown because we all know what the Japanese are capable of. They've got some amazing machinery, some amazing horsepower in the motors on some of their sport bike motors, and obviously the high performing dirt bikes, all these things. Japanese engineering is amazing. As reliable as it gets, all these type of things, no frills. So I'm pretty sure that this Ridge will ride really well and be nice, but that market is definitely owned by Polaris. Can-Am's been trying to sink their claws into it with the Defender, obviously Honda getting involved, and that's where a big lion's share of the market is in terms of overall side-by-side dollars. So, hopefully this leads to bigger, better things. As I've been going to events for the last 2 years, I've noticed Kawasaki's taken more of a keen interest. They're selling really well in Southern Utah. The KRX is a phenomenal rock crawling unit. Every time I go to Utah, I think about purchasing one. I like the look of the KAWI. I like the wheelbase. I like how well it's built. The suspension geometry is great. It's just lacking in power. But crawling wise, it's done well. I think Kawasaki saw that and invested in being at some of these events. And so I was just thinking, man, could this be the time? Could this be a Japanese manufacturer finally steps up and gives us something with 200 horsepower, close to what the big dogs are doing in the industry? And we got stumped again. So at the release, Kawasaki did put out a little teaser video, which we have to get into. They knew there's a lot of people like myself that were hoping for something sport related. So we just got to play the video. We'll dissect it. Let's get into it right now.
This futuristic concept is just one of many models we're working on that are going to be light years ahead of anything in the market today.
I mean, this is is like a low quality iPad game my 6-year-old plays. Nothing about this even resembles a Kawasaki in terms of brand ID. It's got straight axles, portals. Like, this is just like a cartoon that somebody made. I mean, it does resemble Sand Hollow. There's a lake there in the background, but for that guy to say light years ahead of the competition after showing that, I couldn't do that if that was me. But let's keep watching.
So future concepts are great, but look what's coming in 2025.
Okay, so he brings levity. He's like, okay, future concepts. He's kind of like acknowledging this is just like a cartoon, but let's bring it down here. Here's what's coming in 2025, so let's watch. And that was the big news, is a scribble of a concept, if you even want to call it that. I mean, they did tease a sport unit that I think is really, like, without saying too much, hopefully it was something a little more tangible. It doesn't even appear to have the design idea of a KRX or anything Kawasaki related, or have any type of working prototype. They knew, I think, at least they're teasing that something is coming. It makes sense that the Japanese, being more conservative, would launch this motor in a utility application, see what works, and then maybe this is the platform, this is the motor they will use to, pump up the power and make a sport unit, and finally have a Japanese-built sport side-by-side that puts out some horsepower numbers comparable to Polaris, Can-Am, Speed, etc. So maybe next year, 2025, that could be a year and a half from now. It could be almost 2 years from now. It could be December 30th of 2025. So kind of a big nothing burger. They announced price drops on their KRXs, which was interesting. I know the market's definitely softened up sales-wise, and I'm seeing some bigger deals, incentives, and rebates at dealers for Can-Ams and Polaris. So I think, the foo-foo, huge numbers, high profit years of COVID are behind us, and now more competition. Everyone's going to have to sharpen their pencil. So it was cool to see that as we talk about, what's available in the marketplace. Again, the KRX is a great machine. I'd consider owning one, and bringing the price down is only going to be more exciting and drive more market share, of course, for them. So shifting gears, talking about marketing releases to the creation here of our 300th video. That's about 5.5+ years I've been putting in of creating content, and it's funny to see, we're a small, tight-knit community. People are paying attention. A lot of people are paying attention to this release, and word travels fast these days, of course. And it's interesting to hop on a lot of the social platforms and see people's reactions when there is a new product release, whether it's exciting or it's not. Products, I think, in general. And I've been lucky enough to command a lot of attention, particularly with owning the Speed and being one of the first people to take possession of the Speed and try to create as much content as I can. And that was one of the reasons for me to buy the Speed. I mean, I was really interested in the vehicle. I think a lot of the framework of the car is exactly what I want in an off-road vehicle. But obviously I purchased the car to draw more attention to my brand, Chupacabra Off-Road. We keep the lights on by selling products and building a business and building a brand. I think out in the world, there's a lot of skepticism right now. There's a lot of negativity online. People don't know what to believe. They don't know what's real or what's not. People have accused me of being a paid influencer for Speed, which is funny because I paid full retail for the car. I haven't got a discount or received any money or anything. I even made a joke about it on a previous video. But I want to share a couple stats here off my YouTube channel just to kind of bring some clarity. I mean, these days, every kid in America wants to be a YouTuber. The dream is to be like Whistling Diesel, Mr. Beast, right? We're millionaires and all that, and you guys might think that, YouTubers are inherently going to be making a lot of money. So here's a statistic of the last 90 days from our YouTube channel, and as you can see, we generated a little over $800, which is pretty cool. And I think over last year, 2023, we made about almost as much money as it cost to cover the cost of the camera I'm shooting this video on, a Canon R5. So, you know, it's some money that's helpful, but to be honest, like YouTube, especially in this niche, pays essentially nothing. The CPMs are very low. It's not like I'm selling financial services or high-end electronic equipment where, you know, the amount of subscribers I have, 17K, you know, with the amount of watch time, etc., would lead to some, you know, real world revenue, but or money to perhaps live off of. But, you know, I smile as I say that, and I always kind of joke when it comes to creating YouTube. I probably average 15 to 20 cents an hour for how much energy it takes to shoot content, especially when you're shooting out riding and then come back and edit it and then use it and all of that. It's something that I've never considered it as a money maker, but something that, you know, I love, I'm deeply passionate about. I'm deeply passionate about putting out content I think is missing in our space and being authentic. So sometimes even I get a little bit, you know, get my feathers ruffled when people are saying I'm fake or influencer, and it's funny because they're just gonna get all of that, and it's just part of the game. But kind of lessons learned with doing 300 videos, but I want to share that with you. It's pretty cool on the other side of the coin. I mean, ever since we started, man, almost 5 million people have viewed content, over 320,000 hours. People listen to me ramble and go on adventures and things. So I'm real appreciative. It's something I believe in, creating content, putting out there. I get to be creative. It's something that fills my tank. It's hard to be completely submersed in your passion nonstop, and sometimes you can get burnt out. It happens to all of us. But the content, come up with new ideas, is something that always brings me a lot of joy, even though, like I said, I do it for about 15, 20 cents an hour. But I do believe that the industry needs good content. I think a lot of the content that's out there isn't really that great, or could be improved, or I just want to put my flavor on it. And I think we're all kind of different flavors of ice cream. So that's something that I get a lot of joy and satisfaction, and Chupacabra being its own unique brand and having our own unique point of view, and I'm very much into that. So thanks to all of you guys for watching and make those numbers attainable. You know, it's like I said, it's not something to make a living off of per se in our niche, but it's cool, and it's something that helps us, you know, put out higher quality content. I kind of think of the money to make on this go to camera gear, to buy a new GoPro, a drone, and then increase the quality and make nice backdrops with lighting, and we're gonna get the sound better and all that, so we can continue to up the bar and consistency and quality of our content. So it's been a fun ride. I enjoy it. You know, I think we'll be doing 300 more, some consistent content coming out this year, obviously more on the Speed, more on the Pro R, whatever unit we decide to buy next. I don't know if I really put it out there on YouTube, but I did sell the Can-Am back at Sand Show. A guy was hot on it and he offered me some good money for it, so I decided to take it. So the X3 is gone. Not sure what I would buy next. I'd like to buy a 2-seater again. The Pro R is probably what I'd buy tomorrow as a 2-seater. I still haven't even driven the Maverick R. I want to drive one of those and kind of share some thoughts on it. I could see myself even buying a Speed Bandit if the price was right. You know, if we get through some of this reliability issues with the motor. I mean, currently my Speed's getting a new motor replaced, which I should have it back so I can take it to the dunes here for a few more trips this season, and then, you know, Baja, and then I'm doing a long ride in Arizona in March, and Rally on the Rocks in May. So all that type of stuff. But let me know in the comments, comment below what car I should buy if I decide to get another car this year. Maybe do a budget build. I mean, I think where I'm at right now is, you know, you build these cool, pretty cars, and you don't really take as much risk as you'd like to. Like a good example would be rock crawling. So I've thought about doing a budget build, like a budget KRX, you know, getting a weld together CageWorks cage, throwing some stickies on it, seat belts, and just running it, you know, and then building some confidence in the rocks, knowing that if I go for an obstacle, I might not have the talent to get over. If I tip it over, it is what it is type of thing. I don't know. I always have different ideas. You know, I'd like to get into racing again at some point, maybe in the future. But yeah, comment below and see what you guys think. Thanks everybody that's tuned in, especially you day ones. It's been a long ride. I think the first official video launched in April of 2018. But love doing this. Love getting back at it. And again, thanks for subscribing. We'll see you guys in the next one.